To sing a song that old was sung, from ashes ancient Gowers come, assuming man's infirmities, to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals, on ember eves and holy days, and lords and ladies in their lives have read it for restored tithes. The purchase is to make men glorious, et bonum quo antiquius eum melius. If you, born in these latter times, when wit's more ripe, accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing may to your wishes pleasure bring, I life would wish, and that I might waste it for you like taper light. This Antioch, then, Antiacus the Great, built up this city for his chiefest seat, the fairest in all Syria. I tell you what mine authors say. This king unto him took a peer, who died, and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe, and full of face, as heaven had lent her all his grace, with whom the father liking took, and her to incest did provoke. Oof, bad child, worse father, to entice his own to evil should be done by none. But custom what they did begin was with long use accounted no sin. The beauty of this sinful dame made many princes thither frame to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage pleasure's playfellow. Which to prevent, he made a law, to keep her still, and men in awe, that whoso asked her for his wife, his riddle told not, lost his life. So for her many a wight did die, as yon grim looks do testify. What now ensues? To the judgment of your eye I give my cause, who best can justify.
Young Prince of Tyre, you have at large received the danger of the task you want to take.
I have, Antiacus, and with a soul emboldened with the glory of her praise, think death no hazard in this enterprise.
Music! Bring in our daughter, clothed like a bride, for embracements even of Jove himself, and whose conception till Lucina reigned, nature this dowry gave. To glad her presence, the senate house of planets all did sit, to knit in her their best perfections.
Apparelled like the spring, great is her subject, and her thoughts the king, of every virtue gives renown to men. Her face the book of praises, where is read nothing but curious pleasures, as from pen sorrow were never raised, and testify wrath could never her mild companion. You gods that made me man, and in love, that have inflamed desire in my breast to taste fruit of yon celestial tree, or die in the adventure, be my helps, as I am son and servant to your will, to encompass such a boundless happiness.
Prince Pericles.
That would be a son to great Antiochus.
Before thee stands this fair Hesperides, with golden fruit, but dangerous to be touched, for death-like dragons here affright thee hard. Her face like heaven enticeth thee to view her countless glory, which desert must gain, and which without desert, because thine eye presumes to reach, all the whole heap must die. Yon sometimes famous princes, like thyself, drawn by report, adventurous by desire, tell thee with speechless tongues and semblance pale that, without covering save yon field of stars, here they stand, martyrs slain in Cupid's wars, and with dead cheeks advise thee to desist, foregoing on death's net, whom none resist.
Antiochus, I thank thee, who hath taught my frail mortality to know itself, and by those fearful objects to prepare this body, like to them, to what I must. For death, remembered, should be like a mirror, who tells us life's but breath, to trust it ere. I'll make my will, then as sick men do, who know the world, see heaven, but feeling woe, gripe not at earthly joys as erst they did. So I bequeath a happiness and peace to you, and all good men, as every prince should do. My riches to the earth from whence they came, but my unspotted fire of love to you. Thus ready for the way of life or death, I wait the sharpest blow.
Scorning advice, read the conclusion then, which read and not expounded, 'tis decreed, as these before thee, thou thyself shalt bleed.
Of all say it yet, mayst thou prove prosperous. Of all say it yet, I wish thee happiness.
Like a bold champion, I assume the list, nor ask the advice of any other thought but faithfulness and courage. The riddle. I am no viper, yet I feed on mother's flesh, which did me breed. I sought a husband in which labor I found that kindness in a father. His father's son and husband mild, I mother, wife, and yet his child. How they may be, and yet in two, as you live, resolve it you. Sharp physic is in the last. But oh, you powers that give heaven countless eyes to view men's acts, why cloud they not their sights perpetually? If this be true, that makes me pale to read it. Oh, fair glass of light, I loved you, and could still, were not this glorious casket stored with ill. I must tell you now my thoughts revolt, for he no man on whom perfections wait, that, knowing sin within, will touch the gate. You are a fair viol, and your sense the strings, who fingered make men his lawful music, would draw the heaven down and all the gods to hearken, but, being played before your time, hell only danceth to so harsh a chime. Good sooth, I care not for you.
Prince Pericles, touch not upon thy life, for that's an article within our laws dangerous as the rest. Your time's expire. Either expound now or receive your sentence.
Great king, few love to hear the sins they love to act. 'Twould braid yourself too near for me to tell it. Who has a book of all monarchs do, he's more secure to keep it shut than shown. For vice repeated is like the wandering wind, blows dust in others' eyes to spread itself, and yet the end of all is brought thus dear, the breath is gone, and the sore eyes see clear. To stop the air would hurt them. The blind mole casts cropped hills towards heaven, to tell earth is thronged by man's oppression, and the poor worm doth die for it. Kings are earth's gods. In their vice, their laws, their will, and if Jove strays, who dares say Jove doth ill? It is enough, you know, and it is fit, what being more known grows worse, to smother it. All love the womb that they're first been bred, then give my tongue like leave to love my head.
Heaven that I had thy head. He has found the meaning. But I will glose with him. Young Prince of Tyre, though by the tenor of our strict edict your exposition misinterpreting, we might proceed to cancel of your days, yet hope, succeeding from so fair a tree as your fair self, doth tune us otherwise. 40 days longer do we respite you, if by which time our secret be undone. This mercy shows we'll joy in such a son. And until then your entertain shall be as doth befit our honor and your worth.
How courtesy would seem to cover sin, when what is done like a hypocrite. The which is good for nothing but in sight, if it be true that I interpret false. Were you now both a father and a son, by your untimely claspings with your child, which pleasure fits a husband, not a father, and she the eater of her mother's flesh by defiling her parents' bed, and both like serpents are, who, though they feed on sweetest flowers, yet poison breed. Antioch, farewell, for wisdom sees those men blush not in actions blacker than the night, will shrew no course to keep it from the light. One sin, I know, doth another provoke. Murder's as near to lust as flame to smoke. Poison and treason are the hands of sin. Aye, and the targets to put off the shame. Then, lest my life be cropped to keep you clear, by flight I'll shun the danger which I fear.
He hath found the meaning, for which we mean to have his head. He must not live to trumpet forth my infamy, nor tell the world Antiacus doth sin in such a loathed manner. And therefore instantly this prince must die, for by his fall my honour must keep high. Who attends us there?
Doth your highness call?
Thaliard, you are of our chamber, Thaliard, and our mind partakes her private actions to your secrecy, and for your faithfulness we will advance you, Thaliard. Behold, here's poison and here's gold. We hate the prince of Tyre, and thou must kill him. It fits thee not to ask the reason why, because we bid it. Say, is it done?
My lord, 'tis done.
Enough.
My lord.
Let your breath cool yourself, telling your haste.
My lord, Prince Pericles is fled.
As thou wilt live, fly after, and like an arrow shot from a well-experienced archer hits the mark his eye doth level at, so thou never return, unless thou say, Prince Pericles is dead!
My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I'll make him sure enough. So farewell to your highness.
Thaliard, adieu. Till Pericles be dead, my heart can lend no succor to my head.
Why should this change of thoughts, the sad companion, dull-eyed melancholy, be my so-use guest as not an hour in the day's glorious walk, or peaceful night, the tomb where grief should sleep, can breed me quiet? Here pleasures court mine eyes, and mine eyes shun them. And danger, which I feared, is at Antioch, whose arm seems far too short to hit me here, yet neither pleasure's art can joy my spirits, nor yet the other's distance comfort me. Then it is thus. The passions of my mind, that have their first conceptions by misdread, have after-nourishment and life by care. And what was first but fear, what might be done, grows elder now, and cares it not be done. And so with me. The great Antiacus, against whom I am far too little to contend, since he so great can make his will his act. And he will think me speaking, though I swear to silence, nor boos at me say I honor him, if he suspects I may dishonor him. And what may make him blush in being known, he'll stop the course by which it might be known. With hostile force he'll o'erspread this land, and with the onset of war will look so huge, amazement shall drive courage from the state. Our men be vanquished ere they do resist, our subjects punished that ne'er thought offence. The which of them, not pity of myself, who I am more but as the tops of trees, which fence the roots, they grow by and defend them. Make both my body pine and my soul to languish, and punish that before that he would punish.
Joy and all comfort in your sacred breast.
And keep your mind till you return to us peaceful and comfortable.
Peace, and give experience, tongue. They do abuse the king, but flatter him. For flattery is the bellows blows up sin. The thing the which is flattered, but a spark to which that wind gives heat and stronger glowing. Whereas reproof, obedient and in order, fits kings as they are men, for they may err. When Signor Sooth here does proclaim peace, he flatters you, makes war upon your life. Prince, pardon me, or strike me if you please. I cannot be much lower than my knees.
Or leave us else, but let your cares o'erlook what's shipping and what's landing in our haven, and return to us. Thou hast moved us. What seest thou in our looks?
An angry brow, dreadlord.
If there be such dart in prince's frowns, how durst thy tongue move anger towards our face?
How dares the plants look up to heaven, from whence they have their nourishment?
Thou knowest I have the power to take thy life from thee.
I have ground the axe myself. Do but you strike the blow.
Rise. Prithee, rise. Sit down, thou art no flatterer, and I thank thee for it, and heaven forbid that kings should let their ears hear their faults hid. First counselor, and serve it for a prince, who, by thy wisdom, makes a prince thy servant. What wouldst thou have me do?
Bear with patience such griefs as you yourself do lay upon yourself.
Thou speaks like a physician, Helicanus, that ministers a potion unto me that thou wouldst tremble to receive thyself. Attend me. When I went to Antioch, where, as thou knowest, against the face of death, I sought the purchase of a glory from whence an issue I might propagate our arms to princes, joys to subjects. Her face was to mine eye beyond all wonder. The rest, hearken thine ear, as black as incest, which by my knowledge found the sinful fathers seem not to strike but smooth. But thou knowest this, 'tis time to fear when tyrants seem to kiss, which fear so grew in me till I hither fled under the covering of careful night, who seemed to be my good protector, and, being here, bethought me what was past, and what might succeed. I knew him tyrannous, and tyrants' fears decrease not, but grow faster than the years. And should he doubt, as no doubt he doth, that I should open the listening air with many worthy princes' bloods were shed, to keep his bed of blackness laid ope, and lop the doubt he'll find this land and fill with arms, and make pretense of my wrong that I have done him, when all, for mine, if I may call it, offence, must feel war's blow, who spares not innocence, which love to all, of which thyself art one, who now reprovest me for it.
Alas, sir.
And strew sleep out of mine eyes, blood from my cheeks, musings from my mind, and with thousand doubts, how may I stop this tempest ere it came, and finding little comfort to relieve them, I thought it princely charity to grieve for them.
Well, my lord, since you have given me leave to speak, freely will I speak. Antiacus you fear, and justly too. I think you fear the tyrant, who either by public war or private treason will take away your life. Therefore, my lord, go travel for a while, till that his rage and anger be forgot, or till the destinies do cut his thread of life. Your rule direct to any. If to me, day serves not light more faithful than I'll be.
I do not doubt thy faith. But should he wrong my liberties in my absence?
We'll mingle our bloods together in the earth, from whence we had our being and our birth.
Tyre, I now look from thee then, and to Tarsus intend my travel, where I'll hear from thee, and by those letters I'll dispose myself. The care I had and have of subjects good I lay on thee, whose wisdom strength can bear it. I'll take thy word of faith, not ask thine oath. Who shuns not one to break one will crack both. But in our orbs will live so round and safe, that time of both this truth shall ne'er convince. Thou show us a subject's shine, I a true prince.
So this is Tyre, and this the court. Here must I kill King Pericles, and, if I do it not, I am sure to be hanged at home. 'Tis dangerous. Well, I perceive he was a wise fellow and had good discretion that, being bid to ask what he would of the king, desired he might know none of his secrets. Now do I see he had some reason for it. For if a king bid a man be a villain, he's bound by the indenture of his oath to be one. Hush, here comes the lords of Tyre.
Shall not need, my fellow peers of Tyre, further to question me of your king's departure. His sealed commission left in trust with me does speak sufficiently he's gone to travel.
How? The king's gone?
If further yet you will be satisfied, why, as it were, unlicensed of your loves he would depart, I'll give some light unto you. Being at Antioch.
What, from Antioch?
Royal Antiacus, on what cause I know not, took some displeasure at him, at least he judged so, and doubting less he had erred or sinned, to show his sorrow, he'd correct himself. So puts himself under the shipman's toil, with whom each minute threatens life or death.
Well, I perceive I shall not be hanged now, although I would, but since he's gone, the king's ears it must please. Escaped the land to perish at the sea. I'll present myself. Peace to the lords of Tyre.
Lord Thaliard from Antiacus is welcome.
From him I come with message unto princely Pericles, but since my landing I have understood your lord has betook himself to unknown travels. Now message must return from whence it came.
We have no reason to desire it. Commended to your master, not to us. Yet ere you shall depart, this we desire. As friends to Antioch, we may feast in Tyre.
My Dionyza, shall we rest us here and, by relating tales of others' griefs, see if 'twill teach us to forget our own?
That were to blow at fire and hope to quench it. For who does dig hills, who does aspire, throw down one mountain to cast up a higher? Oh, my distressed lord, even such our griefs are. Here they are felt and seen with mischief's eyes, but like to groves being topped, they higher rise.
O Dionyza, who wanteth food and will not say he wants it, or can conceal his hunger till he famish? Our tongues and sorrows do sound deep our woes into the air. Our eyes do weep till lungs fetch breath that may proclaim them louder, that if heaven slumber while their creatures want, they may awake their helpers to comfort them. I'll then discourse our woes, felt several years, and wanting breath to speak, help me with tears.
I'll do my best, sir.
This Tarsus, o'er which I have the government, a city on whom plenty held full hand, for riches strewed herself even in her streets, whose towers bore heads so high they kissed the clouds, and strangers ne'er beheld but wondered at, whose men and dames so jetted and adorned like one another's glass to trim them by. Their tables were stored full to glad the sight, and not so much to feed on as delight. All poverty was scorned, and pride so great, the name of help grew odious to repeat.
Oh, it is true.
But see what heaven can do by this our change. These mouths who but of late earth, sea, and air were all too little to contend and please. Although they gave their creatures in abundance, as houses are defiled for want of use, they are now starved for want of exercise. Those palates, who not yet 2 sabers younger must have inventions to delight the taste, would now be glad of bread and beg for it. Those mothers who, to nuzzle up their babes, thought not too curious, are ready now to eat those little darlings whom they loved. So sharp are hunger's teeth that man and wife draw lots who first shall die to lengthen life. Here stands a lord, and there a lady weeping. Here many sink, yet those which see them fall have scarce strength left to give them burial. Is not this true?
Our cheeks and hollow eyes do witness it.
Oh, let those cities that of plenty's cup and her prosperity so largely taste with their superfluous riots hear these tears. The misery of Tarsus may be theirs.
My Lord Governor.
Here, speak out thy sorrows, which thee bringest in haste.
We have descried upon our neighboring shore a portly sail of ships make hitherward.
I thought as much. One sorrow never comes, but brings an heir that may succeed as his inheritor, and so in ours. Some neighboring nation, taking advantage of our misery, hath stuffed the hollow vessels with their power to beat us down, the which are down already, and make a conquest of unhappy men, whereas no glory's got to overcome.
That's the least fear, for by the semblance of their white flags displayed, they bring us peace and come to us as favorers, not as foes.
Thou speakest like hymns untutored to repeat, who makes the fairest show means most deceit. But bring they what they will and what they can, what need we fear? The ground's the lowest, and we are halfway there. Go tell their general we attend him here, to know for what he comes and whence he comes, and what he craves.
I go, my lord.
Welcome is peace, if he on peace consist. If wars, we are unable to resist.
Lord Governor, for so we hear you are, let not our ships and number of our men like a beacon fire amazed your eyes. We have but heard your miseries as far as Tyre, and seen the desolation of your streets, nor come we to add to your sorrow of your tears, but to relieve them of their heavy load. And think our ships, you happily may think, are like Trojan horse, and stuffed within with bloody veins, expecting to overflow, are stored with corn, to make your needy bread, and give them life who hunger, starved, half dead.
The gods of grace protect you, and we will pray for you.
Now rise, I pray you, rise. We do not look for reverence, but for love, and harborage for ourselves, our ships and men.
The which, when any shall not gratify or pay you with unthankfulness in thoughts, be it our wives, our children, or ourselves, the curse of heaven and men succeed their evils, till when, the which I hope shall ne'er be seen, your grace is welcome to our town and us.
Feast here a while, until our stars that frown lend us a smile.
Here have you seen a mighty king, his child I was to incest bring. A better prince, and benign lord, that will prove awful both in deed and word. Be quiet then, as men should be, till he hath passed necessity. I'll show you those in trouble's reign, losing a mite, a mountain gain. The good in conversation to whom I give my benison is still at Tarsus, where each man thinks all is writ he speaken can, and, to remember what he does, build his statue to make him glorious. But tidings to the contrary are brought your eyes. What need speak I? Oh, the good Helicane stayed at home, not to eat honey like a drone from others' labours, for though he strive to killen bad, keep good alive, and to fulfill his prince desire, sends word of all that haps in Tyre, how Thalia came full bent with sin, and had intent to murder him, and that in Tarsus was not best longer for him to make his rest. He doing so, put forth to seas, where when men been there seldom ease, for now the winds begin to blow. Thunder above and deeps below make such unquiet that the ship should house him safe is racked and split. And he, good prince, having all lost, by waves from coast to coast is tossed, all perishing of man, of pelf, nay, aught escaping but himself, till fortune, tired with doing him bad, threw him ashore to give him glad. And here he comes. What shall be next? Pardon, old Gower, this longs the text.
Yet cease your ire, you angry stars of heaven, wind, rain, and thunder. Remember, earthly man is but a substance that must yield to you, and I, as fits my nature, do obey you. Alas, the seas have cast me on these rocks, washed me from shore to shore, and left my breath nothing to think but on ensuing death. Let it to suffice the greatness of your powers, have yet bereft a prince in all his fortunes, and, having thrown him from the watery grave, here to have death and peace is all he'll crave.
What ho, pilch?
Ha! Come and bring away the nets.
What patch breach, I say?
What say you, master?
Look how thou stirrest now. Come away, or I'll fetch thee with a wonion.
Faith, master, I'm thinking of the poor men that were cast away before us even now.
Alas, poor souls, it grieved my heart to hear what painful cries they made to us to help them when, well a day, we could scarce help ourselves.
Master, said not I as much when I saw the porpoise, how he bounced and tumbled? They say they're half fish, half flesh. A plague on 'em. They ne'er come, but I look to be washed. Master, I marvel how the fishes live in the sea.
Why, as men do a land. The great ones eat up the little ones. I can compare our rich misers to nothing so fitly as to a whale. He plays and tumbles, driving the poor fry before him, and at last devours them all at a mouthful. Such whales have I heard on the land, who never leave gaping till they have swallowed the whole parish, church, steeple, bells, and all.
Pretty mortal.
But, Master, if I had been the sexton, I would have been that day in the belfry.
Why, man?
Because he should have swallowed me too. And when I had been in his belly, I would have kept such a jangling of the bells that he should never have left till he cast bells, steeple, church, and parish up again. But if the good King Simonides were of my mind,
Simonides,
we would purge the land of these drones that rob the bee of her honey.
how from the finny subjects of the sea these fishers tell the infirmities of men, and from their watery empire recollect all that may men approve or men detect. Peace be at your labor, honest fisherman.
Honest, good fellow, what's that? If it be a day fits you, search out of the calendar, and nobody look after it.
May see the sea hath cast upon your coast.
What a drunken knave was the sea to cast thee in our way?
A man whom both the waters and the wind and the vast tennis court made the ball for them to play upon, entreats you pity him. He asked of you that ever used to beg.
No, friend. Can you not beg? Here's them in our country of Greece. Gets more with begging than we can do with working.
Canst thou catch any fishes then?
I never practiced it.
Nay, then thou wilt starve sure, for here's nothing to be got nowadays unless thou canst fish for it.
What I have been, I have forgot to know, and what I am want teaches me to think on a man thronged up with cold. My veins are chill and have no more life than may suffice to give my tongue that heat to ask your help, which, if you shall refuse, when I am dead, for that I am a man, I pray you sear me buried.
Die, quotha? No, God's forbid it. And I have a gown? Oh, here, come, put it on, keep thee warm. Now for me, a handsome fellow. Come, thou shalt go home, and we'll have flesh for holidays, fish for fasting days, and moreover, puddings and flapjacks. And thou shalt be welcome.
I thank you, sir.
Hark you, my friend. You said you could not beg?
I did but crave.
But crave? Then I'll turn craver too, and so I shall scape whipping.
Why, are your beggars whipped then?
Oh, not all, my friend, not all. For if all your beggars are whipped, I would wish no better office than to be the beadle. But, master, I'll go draw up the net.
Hark you, sir. Do you know where you are?
Not well.
Well, I'll tell you. This is called Pentapolis, and our king is the good Simonides.
The good Simonides, you do call him.
Aye, sir, and he deserves so to be called for his peaceable reign and good government.
He is a happy king, since he gains from his subjects the name of good by his government. And how far is the court distant from the shore?
Sir, half a day's journey, and I'll tell you, he hath a fair daughter, and tomorrow is her birthday, and there are princes and knights come from all parts of the world to joust and tourney for her love.
Were my fortunes equal to my desires, I could with to make one there.
Oh, sir, things must be as they may, and what a man cannot get, he may lawfully deal for his wife's soul.
Help, master, help! Here's a fish hangs in the net like a poor man's right in the law. 'Twill hardly come out. Ha! Bots on it. 'Tis come at last, and 'tis turned to a rusty armor.
An armor? My friends, I pray you, let me see it. Oh, thanks, fortune, yet, that after all thy crosses thou givest me somewhat to repair myself, And though it were mine own as part of my heritage, which my dead father did bequeath to me, with this strict charge, even as he left his life, keep it, my Pericles, has been a shield twixt me and death, and pointed to this brace. For that it has saved me, keep it, and in like necessity, which the gods protect thee from, may it defend thee. Oh, it kept where I kept. I so dearly loved it till the rough seas that spares not any men took it in range, though calmed, hath given me again. I thank thee for it. My shipwrecks now no ill, since I have here my father gave in his will.
What mean you, sir?
To beg of you, kind friends, this coat of worth, for it was sometimes target to a king. I know it by the mark, he loved me dearly, and for his sake I wish of having it, and that you'd guide me to your sovereign's court, where with it I may appear a gentleman, and if ever my low fortune's better, I'll pay your bounties till then, rest your debtor.
Why, wilt thou tourney for the lady?
I'll show the virtue I've borne in arms.
Why, do we take it, and the gods give thee good on it.
Aye, but hark you, my friend, 'twas we that made up this garment through the rough seams of the waters. There are certain condolements, certain veils. I hope, sir, if you thrive, you'll remember from whence you had them.
Believe it, I will. By your furtherance, I am clothed in steel. And spite all the rupture of the sea, this jewel holds bidding on my arm. Unto thy value, I will mount myself upon a courser, whose delightful steps shall make the gazer joy to see him tread. Only, my friends, I am yet unprovided with a pair of bases.
We'll sure provide. Thou shalt have my best gown to make thee a pair, and I'll bring thee myself to the court.
Then honor be but a goal to my will. This day I'll rise, or else add ill to ill.
Are the knights ready to begin the triumph?
They are, my liege, and stay your coming to present themselves.
Return them, we are ready. And our daughter here, in honor of whose birth these triumphs are, sits here like beauty's child, whom nature gat for men to see, and seeing wonder at.
It pleaseth you, my royal father, to express my commendations great, whose merits loss.
It's fit it should be so, for princes are a model which heaven makes like to itself. As jewels lose their glory if neglected, so princes their renowns if not respected. 'Tis now your honor, daughter, to entertain the labor of each knight in his device.
Which, to preserve mine honor, I'll perform.
Who is the first that doth prefer himself?
A knight of Sparta, my renowned father, and the device he bears upon his shield is a black Ethiop reaching at the sun. The word, lux tua vita mihi.
He loves you well that holds his life of you. Who is the second that presents himself?
A prince of Macedon, my royal father, and the device he bears upon his shield is an armed knight that's conquered by a lady. The motto thus in Spanish, Pue per dolira qui per forza.
And what's the third?
The third, of Antioch, and his device a wreath of chivalry. The word, me Pompei, provexit apex.
And what's the fourth and last? The which the knight himself with such a graceful courtesy delivered?
He seems to be a stranger, but his present is a withered branch that's only green at top. The motto, in hac spe vivo.
Oh, a pretty moral. From the dejected state wherein he is, he hopes by you his fortunes may flourish.
He had need mean better than his outward show can anyway speak in his just command. For by his rusty outside, he appears to have practiced more the whipstock than the lance.
He well may be a stranger, for he comes to an honored triumph strangely furnished.
And on set purpose let his armor rust until this day to scour it in the dust.
Opinion's but a fool that makes us scan the outward habit by the inward man. But stay, the knights are coming. We will withdraw into the gallery. say your welcome were superfluous. To place upon the volume of your deeds as in a title page your worth in arms were more than you expect or more than's fit, since every worth in show commends itself. Prepare for mirth becomes a feast. You are princes and my guests.
But you, my knight and guest, to whom this wreath of victory I give, and crown you king of this day's happiness.
'Tis more by fortune, lady, than my merit.
Call it by what you will. The day is yours. And here, I hope, is none that envies it. In framing an artist, art hath thus decreed to make some good, but others to exceed. And you are her labored scholar. Come, queen of the feast, for daughter so you are. Here, take your place. Marshal, the rest as they deserve their grace.
We are honored much by good Simonides.
Your presence glads our days. Honor we love, for who hates honor hates the gods above.
Sir, yonder is your place.
Some other is more fit.
Contend not, sir, for we are gentlemen, have neither in our hearts nor outward eyes evised the great, nor shall the low despise.
You are right, courteous knights.
Sit, sir, sit. By Jove, I wonder that this is king of thoughts. These cates resist me, he not thought upon.
By Juno, that is queen of marriage, all viands that I eat do seem unsavory, wishing him my meat. Sure, he's a gallant gentleman.
He's but a country gentleman. He has done no more than other knights have done, has broken a staff or so. So let it pass.
To me, he seems like diamond to glass.
Yon kings to me like to my father's picture, which tells me that in glory once he had princes sit like stars about his throne, and he the sun for them to reverence. None that beheld him but like lesser lights did veil their crowns to his supremacy. Were now his sons like a glowworm in the night, the which hath fire and darkness, none in light. Whereby I see that times the king of men, he's both their parent, and he's their grave, and gives them what he will, not what they crave.
What? Are you merry, knights?
Who can be other in this royal presence?
Here, with a cup that's stored unto the brim. As do you love, fill to your mistress' lips. We drink this health to you.
We thank your grace.
Yet pause a while. Yon knight doth sit too melancholy, as if the entertainment in our court had not a show might countervail his worth. Noted not you, Thaisa?
What is to me, my father?
Oh, attend, my daughter. Princes in this should live like gods above, who freely give to everyone that come to honor them. And princes not doing so are like to gnats, which make a sound, but killed are wondered at. Therefore, to make his entrance more sweet, here, say we drink this standing bowl of wine to him.
Alas, my father, it befits not me unto a stranger knight to be so bold. He may my proffer take for an offense, since men take women's gifts for impudence.
How? Do as I bid you, or you'll move me else.
Now by the gods, he could not please me better.
And furthermore, tell him we desire to know of him, of whence he is, his name, and parentage.
The king, my father, sir, has drunk to you.
I thank him.
Wishing it so much blood unto your life.
I thank both him and you, and pledge him freely.
And further, he desires to know of you, of whence you are, your name and parentage.
A gentleman of Tyre, my name Pericles. My education been in arts and arms, who, looking for adventures in the world, was brought by rough seas, reft of ships and men, and after shipwreck driven upon this shore.
A gentleman of Tyre, who only by misfortune of the seas, bereft of ships and men, cast on this shore.
Now, by the gods, I pity his misfortune, and will awake him from this melancholy. Come, gentlemen, we sit too long on trifles, and waste the time which looks for other revels. Even in your armors, as you are addressed, will well become a soldier's dance. I will not have excuse with saying this. Loud music is too harsh for ladies' heads, since they love men in arms as well as beds. So, this was well asked. 'Twas so well performed. Come, sir. Here's a lady that wants breathing too, and I have heard you knights of Tyre are excellent in making ladies trip, and that their measures are as excellent.
In those that practice them they are, my lord.
That's as much as you would be denied of your fair courtesy. Unclasp! Unclasp! Thanks, gentlemen, to all. All have done well. But you, the best. Pages and lights, conduct these knights unto their several lodgings. Yours, sir, we have given order be next our own.
I am at your grace's pleasure.
Princes, it is too late to talk of love, and that's the mark I know you level at. Therefore, each one betake him to his rest. Tomorrow, all for speeding do their best.
Know, Escanes, know this of me. Antiacus from incest lived not free, for which the most high gods, not minding longer to withhold the vengeance that they had in store, due to this heinous capital offense, even in the height and pride of all his glory, when he was seated in a chariot of an inestimable value, and his daughter with him, a fire from heaven came and shriveled up those bodies even to loathing, for they so stunk that all those eyes adored them ere their fall. Scorn now their hand should give them burial.
'Twas very strange.
And yet but justice. For though this king were great, his greatness was no guard to barred heaven's shaft, but sin had his reward.
'Tis very true.
Lord Helicane, a word.
With me, and welcome. Happy day, my lords.
Know that our griefs are risen to the top, and now at length they overflow their banks.
For what? Wrong not your prince you love.
Wrong not yourself, then, noble Helicane. But if the prince do live, let us salute him, or know what grounds made happy by his breath. If in the world he live, we'll seek him out. If in his grave he rest, we'll find him there, and so be resolved he lives to govern us. Or, dead, give us cause to mourn his funeral, and leave us to our free election.
Whose death indeed the strongest in our censure, and knowing this kingdom is without a head, like goodly buildings left without a roof, soon fall to ruin your noble self, that best know how to rule and how to reign, we thus submit unto our sovereign. Live, noble Helicane.
Try honor's cause, forbear your suffrages. If that you love Prince Pericles, forbear. Take I your wish, I leap into the seas, where's hourly trouble for a minute's ease. A 12-month longer let me entreat you to forbear the absence of your king. If in which time expired he not return, I shall with aged patience bear your yoke. But if I cannot win you to this love, go search like noble subjects, and in your search spend your adventure's worth. Whom if you find and win unto return, you shall like diamonds sit about his crown.
To wisdom he's a fool that will not yield, and since Lord Helicane enjoineth us, we with our travels will endeavor.
That you love us, we you, and will clasp hands. When peers thus knit, a kingdom ever stands.
Good morrow to the good Simonides.
Knights, from my daughter this I let you know, that for this 12-month she'll not undertake a married life. Her reason to herself is only known, which from her by no means can I get.
May we not get access to her, my lord?
Faith, by no means. She hath so strictly tied her to her chamber that 'tis impossible. 12 moons more, she'll wear Diana's livery. This by the eye of Cynthia hath she vowed, and on her virgin honor she will not break it.
Loath to bid farewell, we take our leaves.
So, they are well dispatched. Now, to my daughter's letter. She tells me here that she'll wed the stranger knight, or never more to view nor day nor light. 'Tis well, mistress. Your choice agrees with mine. Oh, I like that well. Nay, how absolute she is, and not minding whether I dislike or no. Well, I do commend her choice, and will no longer have it be delayed. Soft, here he comes. I must dissemble it.
All fortune to the good King Simonides.
To you as much. Sir, I am beholding to you for your sweet music this last night. I do protest, my ears were never better fed with such delightful, pleasing harmony.
It is your grace's pleasure to commend, not my desert.
Sir, you are music's master.
The worst of all her scholars, good my lord.
Let me ask you one thing. What do you think of my daughter, sir?
A most virtuous princess.
And she is fair, too, is she not?
As fair as a day in summer, wondrous fair.
Sir, my daughter thinks very well of you. Aye, so well that you must be her master, and she will be your scholar. Therefore, look to it.
I am unworthy for her schoolmaster.
She thinks not so. Peruse this writing, else.
What's here? A letter that she loves the knight of Tyre. Is the king subtly to have my life? Seek not to entrap me, gracious lord, a stranger and distressed gentleman that never aimed so high to love your daughter, but pent all offices to her honor.
Thou hast bewitched my daughter, and thou art a villain.
By the gods, I have not. Ever did a thought of mine levy offense, nor never did my actions yet commence a deed that might gain her love or your displeasure.
Traitor, thou liest.
Traitor?
Aye, traitor.
Even in his throat, unless it be the king that calls me traitor, I return the lie.
Now by the gods, I do applaud his courage.
My actions are as noble as my thoughts that never relished a base dissent. I came unto your court for honor's cause, and not to be a rebel to her state. And he that otherwise accounts of me, this sword shall prove his honor's enemy.
No, here comes my daughter, she can witness it.
As you are virtuous as fair, resolve your angry father, if my tongue did e'er solicit or my hand subscribe to any syllable that made you love me.
Why, sir, say if you had. Who takes offense at that would make me glad.
Yea, mistress, are you so peremptory? I am glad on it with all my heart. I'll tame you, I'll bring you in subjection. Will you, not having my consent, bestow your love and your affections upon a stranger? Who, for aught I know, may be, nor can I think the contrary, as great in blood as I myself. Therefore, hear you, mistress. Either frame your will to mine, and you, sir, hear you. Either be ruled by me, or I'll make you man and wife. Nay, come, your hands and lips must seal it too, and being joined, I'll thus your hopes destroy. And for further grief, God give you joy. What? Are you both pleased?
Yes. Me, sir.
Even as my life, my blood that fosters it.
What? Are you both agreed?
Yes.
If it please your majesty.
It pleaseth me so well that I will see you wed. And then, with what haste you can, get you to bed.
Now sleep slacked hath the rout, no din but snores about the house, made louder by the o'erfed breast of this most pompous marriage feast. The cat, with eyne of burning coal, now couches from the mouse's hole, and crickets sing at the oven's mouth are the blither for their drow. Hymen hath brought the bride to bed, where, by the loss of maidenhead, a babe is moulded. Be attent, and time that is so briefly spent with your fine fancies, quaintly each. By many a dern and painful purge of Pericles, the careful search, by the 4 opposing coins which the world together joins, is made with all due diligence, that horse and sail and high expense can stead the quest. At last from Tyre, fame answering the most strange inquire to the court of King Simonides, are letters brought, the tenor these. Antiacus and his daughter dead, the men of Tyre on the head of Helicanus would set on the crown of Tyre, but he will none. The mutiny he there hastes to press says to him, if King Pericles come not home in twice 6 moons, he, obedient to their dooms, will take the crown. The sum of this brought hither to Pentapolis, ravished the regions round, and every one with claps can sound, our heir apparent is a king, who thought of such a thing? Brief, he must hence depart to Tyre. His queen with child makes her desire, which who shall cross, along to go. Omit we all their dole and woe. Like Corrida her nurse she takes, and so to sea their vessel shakes on Neptune's billow. Half the flood hath their keel cut, but fortune moved varies again. The grizzled north disgorges such a tempest forth, that as a duck for life that dives, so up and down the poor ship drives. The lady shrieks, and well anear does fall in travail with her fear. And what ensues in this fell storm shall for itself perform, I nil relate. Action may conveniently the rest convey, which might not what by me is told. In your imagination hold this stage, the ship, upon whose deck the sea-tossed Pericles appears to speak.
The god of this great vast rebuke these surges which wash both heaven and hell, and thou that hast upon the wind's command bind them in brass, having called them from the deep. Oh, still thy deafening dreadful thunders gently quench the nimble sulphurous flashes. Oh, how, like Corrida, how does my queen? Then storm venomously wilt thou spit all thyself. The seaman's whistle is a whisper in the ears of death unheard. Like Corrida, Lucina, oh, divinest patroness of midwife gentle, to those who cry by night, convey thy deity aboard our dancing boat, make swift the pangs of my queen's travails. Oh, like Corrida!
Here is the thing too young for such a place. Who, if it had conceit, would die as I am like to do. Take in your arms this piece of your dead queen.
Oh, like Corrida.
Patience, good sir, do not assist the storm. Here's all that is left living of your queen, a little daughter. For the sake of it, be manly and take comfort.
You gods, why do you make us love your goodly gifts and snatch them straight away? We here below recall not what you give, and wherein may use honor with you.
Patience, good sir, even for this charge.
Now mild may be thy life, for more bolsterous a birth never had babe. Quiet and gentle thy conditions, for thou art the rudeliest welcome to this world that ever was a prince's child. Happy what follows. Thou hast as chiding nativity as fire, air, water, earth, and heaven can make to herald thee from the womb. Even at the first, thy loss is more than can portage quit, with all thou canst find here. Now, the good gods throw their best eyes upon it.
What courage, sir! God save you.
Courage enough. I do not fear the flaw. It hath done me the worst. Yet, for the love of this poor infant, this fresh new seafarer, I would it would be quiet.
Slack the bowlines there! Thou wilt not, will thou? And split thyself!
See a room and the brine and cloudy billow kiss the moon, I care not.
Sir, your queen must overboard. The sea works high, the wind is loud, and will not lie till the ship be cleared of the dead.
That's your superstition.
Pardon us, sir. With us at sea it hath been still observed, and we are strong in custom. Therefore,
briefly yield her, for she must overboard straight.
As you think meet, most wretched queen.
Here she lies, sir.
Ah, a terrible childbed hast thou had, my dear. No light, no fire, the unfriendly elements forgot thee utterly, nor have I the time to give thee hollow to thy grave, but straight must cast thee, scarcely coffined, in ooze, where, for a monument upon thy bones, and ere remaining lamps, the belching whale and humming water was overwhelmed thy corpse, lying within simple shells. Oh, Lycarida, bid Nestor bring me the spices, ink, and paper, my casket and my jewels, and bid Nicander bring me the satin coffin. Lay the babe upon the pillow. Hide thee, whilst I say a priestly farewell to her. Suddenly, woman.
Sir, we have a chest beneath the hatches, cocked and batooned ready.
I thank thee, Mariner. Say, what coast is this?
We are near Tarsus.
Thither, gentle mariner, alter thy course for Tyre. When canst we reach it?
By break of day, if the winds cease.
Make for Tarsus. I will visit Cleon for the babe. Cannot hold out to Tyrus. There I'll leave it, at careful nursing. Go thy ways, good mariner. I'll bring the body presently.
Philemon! Oh!
Doth my lord call?
Get fire and meat for these poor men. 'Tis been a turbulent and stormy night. Your master will be dead ere your return. There's nothing can be ministered to nature that can recover him. Give this to the apothecary, and tell me how it works.
Good morrow.
Good morrow to your lordship.
Gentlemen, why do you stir so early?
Sir, our lodging standing bleak upon the sea shook as the earth did quake. The very principles did seem to rend, and all to topple. Pure surprise and fear made me to quit the house.
That is the cause we trouble you so early.
Oh, you say well.
But I much marvel that your lordship, having rich Tyre about you, should at these early hours shake off the golden slumber of repose. 'Tis most strange nature should be so conversant with pain, being thereto not compelled.
I hold it ever. Virtue and cunning were endowments greater than nobleness and riches. Careless heirs may the two latter darken and expend, but immortality attends the former, making a man a god. 'Tis known I ever have studied physic, through which secret art by turning o'er authorities I have, together with my practice, made familiar to me and to my heirs the blessed infusions that dwells in vegetatives, in metals, stones, and can speak of the disturbances that nature works and of her cures, which doth give me a more content and course of true delight than to be thirsty after tottering honor, or tie my pleasure up in silken bags to please the fool and death.
Your honor has through Ephesus poured forth your charity, and hundreds call themselves your creatures who by you have been restored. And not your knowledge, your personal pain, but even your purse still open, hath built Lord Cerimon such strong renown as time shall never.
What's that?
Sir, even now did the sea toss up upon our shore this chest. 'Tis some of wrack.
Well, set down. Let's look upon it.
'Tis like a coffin, sir.
Whate'er it be, 'tis wondrous heavy. Wrench it open straight. If the sea's stomach be o'ercharged with gold, 'tis a good constraint of fortune it belches upon us.
'Tis so, my lord.
How close 'tis cocked and batooned. Did the sea cast it up?
I never saw so huge a billow, sir. as toss it upon the shore.
We'll wrench it open. Soft. Smells most sweetly in my sense.
A delicate odor.
Has ever hit my nostril. So, up with it. Oh, you most potent gods. What's here? A corpse.
Oh, strange.
Shrouded in a cloth of state, balmed and treasured with full backs of spices. A passport, too. Apollo, perfect me in the characters. Here I give to understand, if ere this coffin drives the land, I, King Pericles, have lost this queen, worth all our mundane cost. Who finds her, give her burying. She was the daughter of a king. Besides this treasure for a fee, the gods requite his charity. If thou livest, Pericles, thou hast a heart that ever cracks for woe. Will this chance tonight?
Most likely, sir.
Nay, certainly tonight. For look how fresh she looks. They were too rough that threw her in the sea. Make a fire within. Fetch hither all my boxes in my closet. The fire of life kindle again the oppressed spirits. I heard of an Egyptian that had 9 hours lain dead, was by good appliance recovered. Well said, well said. The fire and cloths, the rough and woeful music that we have, cause it to sound, beseech you. The vial, once more. How thou stirrest, thou block. The music. There. I pray you give her air. Gentlemen, this queen will live. Nature awakes the warm breath out of her. She hath not been entranced above 5 hours. See how she begins to blow into life's flower again.
The heavens through you increase our wonder and sets up your fame forever.
She is alive. Behold, her eyelids, cases to those heavenly jewels, which Pericles had lost, begins to part their fringes of bright gold. The diamonds of a most praised water doth appear to make the world twice rich. Live, and make us weep to hear your fate, fair creature, rare as you seem to be.
Oh, dear Diana, where am I? Where's my lord? What world is this?
Is this not strange?
Most rare.
Hush, my gentle neighbors. Lend me your hands. To the next chamber bear her. Get linen. Well, now this matter must be looked to, for her relapse is mortal. Come, come, and Aesculapius guide us.
Most honored Cleon, I must needs be gone. My 12 months are expired, and Tyre stands in litigious peace. You and your lady take from my heart all thankfulness. The gods make up the rest upon you.
Your shakes of fortune, though they haunt you mortally, yet glance full wonderingly on us.
Oh, your sweet queen, that the strict fates had pleased, you would have brought her hither to have blessed mine eyes with her.
We cannot but obey the powers above us. Could I rage and roar as doth the sea she lies in, and yet and look to be as 'tis. My gentle babe, Marina, for whom she was born at sea, I have named so. I charge your charity withal, leaving her in your infant of your care, beseeching you to give her princely training, that she may be mannered as she is born.
Fear not, my lord, but thank your grace that fed my country with your corn, for which the people's prayers still fall upon you, must in your child be thought on. If neglection should therein make me vile, the common body by you relieved would force me to my duty. But if to that my nature need a spur, the gods revenge it upon me and mine to the end of generation.
I believe you. Your honor and your goodness teach me to it without your vows. Till she'll be married, madam, by bright Diana, whom we honor all. Unscissored shall this hair of mine remain, though I show ill in it. So I take my leave, good madam. Make me blessed in your care in bringing up my child.
I have one myself, who shall not go more dear to my respect than yours, my lord.
Madam, my thanks and prayers.
We'll bring your grace in to the edge of the shore, then give you up to the masked Neptune and the gentlest winds of heaven.
I will embrace your offer. Oh, come, dearest madam. Oh, no tears, like Carita, no tears. Look to your little mistress, on whose grace you may depend hereafter. Come, my lord.
Madam, this letter and some certain jewels lay with you in your coffer, which are at your command. And know you the character?
It is my lord's. That I was shipped at sea, I well remember, even on my bearing time, but whether they're delivered by the holy gods, I cannot rightly say. But since King Pericles, my wedded lord, I ne'er shall see again, a vestal livery will I take me to, and never more have joy.
Madam, if this you purpose as you speak, Diana's temple is not distant far where you may abide till your date expire. Moreover, if you please, a niece of mine shall there attend you.
My recompense is thanks, that's all. Yet my goodwill is great, though the gift small.
Imagine Pericles arrived at Tyre, welcomed and settled to his own desire. His woeful queen we leave at Ephesus, unto Diana bears a votaress. Now to Marina bend your mind, whom our fast-growing scene must find at Tarsus, and by Cleon trained in music, letters, who hath gained of education all the grace which makes high both the art and place of general wonder. But, alack, that monster envy, oft the rack of earned praise, Marina's life seeks to take off by treason's knife. And in this kind our Cleon hath one daughter, and a full-grown wench, even ripe for marriage rite. This maid hight Philoten, and it is said for certain in our story she would ever with Marina be it when they weaved the slated silk with fingers long, small white as milk, or when she would with sharp needle wound the cambric which she made more sound by hurting it, or when to the lute she sung and made the night bird mute that still records with moan, or when she would with rich and constant pen veil to her mistress Diane. Still this Philoten contends in skill with absolute Marina. So with the dove of Paphos might the crow vie feathers white. Marina gets all praises, which are paid as debts and not as given. This so darks in Philoten all graceful marks, that Cleon's wife, with envy rare, a present murderer does prepare for good Marina, that her daughter might stand peerless by this slaughter. The sooner her vile thoughts to stead, Lycorda, our nurse, is dead. And cursed Dionyza hath the pregnant instrument of wrath pressed for this blow. The unborn event I do commend to your content. Only I carry winged time post on the lame feet of my rhyme. which never could I so convey unless your thoughts went on my way. Dionyza does appear, with Leonine, a murderer.
Thy oath, remember? Thou hast sworn to do it. 'Tis but a blow which never shall be known. Thou canst not do a thing in the world so soon as to yield thee so much profit. Let not conscience, which is but cold inflaming, thy bosom inflame too nicely, nor let pity, which even women have cast off, melt thee, but be a soldier to thy purpose.
Well, I will do it. But yet she is a goodly creature.
Then the fitter the gods should have her. Well, here she comes, weeping for her only mistress's death. Thou art resolved.
Well, I am resolved.
No, I will rob Tellus of her weed to strew thy green with flowers. The yellows, blues, the purple violets, and the marigolds shall as a carpet hang upon thy grave while summer days doth last. Ay me, poor maid, born in a tempest when my mother died. This world to me is as lasting as a storm, worrying me from my friends.
How now, Marina? Why keep thou alone? How chance my daughter is not with you? Oh, do not consume your blood with sorrowing. Have you a nurse of me? Lord, how your favor has changed with this unprofitable woe. Come, give me your flowers. Come. O'er the sea margin, walk with Leonine. The air is quick there, and it pierces and sharpens the stomach. Come, Leonine. Take her by the arm. Walk with her.
No, I pray you, I'll not bereave you of your servant.
Oh, come. I love the king, your father, and yourself more than feigning heart. With every day we expect him here, and when he shall come to see our paragon, to all reports blasted, he will repent the breath of his great voyage, blame both my lord and me that we have taken no care in your best courses. Oh, go. I pray you, walk and be cheerful again. Reserve that excellent complexion which did steal the eyes of young and old. Care not for me. I can go home alone.
Well, I will go, but yet I have no desire to it.
Oh, come. I know 'tis good for you. Walk half an hour, Leonine at the least. Remember what I have said.
I warrant you, madam.
I will leave thee, sweet lady, for a while. Oh, pray, walk softly. Do not heat your blood. Well, what? I must have care of you.
My thanks, sweet madam. Is this wind westerly that blows?
Southwest.
When I was born, the wind was north.
Was so?
My father, as nurse says, did never fear, but cried, "Good seamen!" to the sailors, galling his kingly hands, hauling ropes, and, clasping to the mast, endured a sea that almost burst the deck.
Oh, well, when was this?
When I was born. Never was waves nor wind more violent, and from the ladder tackle washes off a canvas climber. Ha! One says, "Walt out!" And with a dropping industry, they skip from stern to stern. The boatswain whistles, and the master calls and trebles their confusion.
Well, come. Say your prayers.
What mean you?
Well, if you require a little space for prayer, I grant it. But pray, be not tedious, for the gods are quick of ear. Well, I am sworn to do my work with haste.
Why will you kill me?
To satisfy my lady.
Why should she have me killed? Now, as I can remember by my troth, I never did hurt her in all my life. I never spake bad word, nor did ill turn to any living creature. Believe me, La, I never killed a mouse, nor hurt a fly. I trod upon a worm against my will, but I wept for it. How have I offended wherein my death might yield her any profit, or my life imply her any danger?
Well, my commission is not to reason of the deed, but do it.
You will not do it for all the world, I hope. You are well favored, and your looks foreshow you have a gentle heart. I saw you lately when you caught hurt in parting two that fought. Good sooth, it showed well in you. Do so now. Your lady seeks my life. Come you between and save poor me, the weaker.
Well, I am sworn, and I will dispatch.
Hold, villain.
Oh, a prize, a prize.
Half part, mates, half part. Come, let's have her aboard suddenly.
These rogue thieves serve the great pirate Valdez, and they have seized Marina. Well, let her go. There's no hope she will return. I'll swear she's dead, thrown into the sea.
Boat!
Sir?
Search the market narrowly. Mitylene is full of gallons. We lost too much money this mart by being too wenchless.
We were never so much out of creatures. We have but poor 3, and they can do no more than they can do, and they with continual action are even as good as rotten.
Therefore, let's have fresh ones, whate'er we pay for them. If there be not a conscience to be used in every trade, we shall never prosper.
Thou sayest true. 'Tis not our bringing up of poor bastards, as I think I have brought up some 11.
I to 11, and brought them down again. But shall I search the market?
What else, man? The stuff we have, a strong wind will blow it to pieces. They are so pitifully sodden.
The poor Transylvanian is dead that lay with a little baggage.
She quickly pooped him. She made him roast meat for worms. But I'll go search the market.
God. 3,000 or 4,000 Chequins were as pretty a proportion to live quietly. And so give over.
But why to give over, I pray you? Is it a shame to get when we are old?
Oh, our credit comes not in like the commodity, nor the commodity wages not with the danger. Therefore, if in our youths we could pick up some pretty estate, 'twere not amiss to keep our door hatched. Besides, the sole terms we stand upon with the gods will be strong with us for giving over.
Oh, come, other sorts offend as well as we.
As well as we? Aye, and better too. We offend worse. Neither is our profession any trade. It's no calling. But here comes Bolt.
Come your ways, my masters. You say she is virgin?
Oh, sire, we doubt it not.
Master, I have gone through for this piece you see. If you like her, so. If not, I have lost all my earnest.
Bolt, has she any qualities?
She has a good face, speaks well, and has excellent, good clothes. There's no farther necessity of qualities can make her be refused.
What's her price, Bolt?
I cannot be baited 1 doit of 1,000 pieces.
Well, follow me, my masters. You shall have your money presently. Wife, take her in. Instruct her what she has to do, that she may not be raw in her entertainment.
Take you the marks of her, the colour of her hair, complexion, height, her age, with warrant of her virginity, and cry, "He that will give most shall have her first." Such a maidenhead were no cheap thing if men were as they have been. Get this done as I command you.
Performance shall follow.
He should have struck, not spoke. Or that these pirates, not enough barbarous, had but o'erboard thrown me for to seek my mother.
Why lament you, pretty one?
That I am pretty.
Come, the gods have done their part in you.
I accuse them not.
You are light into my hands where you are like to live.
The more my fault to escape his hands where I was to die.
Aye, and you shall live in pleasure.
No.
Yes, indeed shall you, and taste gentlemen of all fashions. You shall fare well. You shall have the difference of all complexions. What, do you stop your ears?
Are you a woman?
What would you have me be, and I be not a woman?
An honest woman, or not a woman?
Oh, Mary, whip the gosling. I think I shall have something to do with you. Come, you're a young foolish sapling, and must be bowed as I would have you.
Oh, the gods defend me!
If it please the gods to defend you by men, then men must comfort you, men must feed you, men stir you up. Now, sir, hast thou cried her through the market?
I have cried her almost to the number of her hairs. I have drawn her picture with my voice.
And I prithee tell me, how dost thou find the inclination of the people, especially of the younger sort?
Faith, they listen to me as they would have hearkened to their father's testament. There was a Spaniard's mouth watered, and he went to bed to her very description.
We shall have him here tomorrow with his best ruff on.
Tonight. But mistress, do you know the French knight that cowers of the hams?
Who, Monsieur Verreau?
Aye, he offered to cut a caper at the proclamation, but he made a groan at it and swore he would see her tomorrow.
Well, as for him, he brought his disease hither. Here he does but repair it. I know he will come in our shadow to scatter his crowns in the sun.
Well, if we had of every nation a traveler, we should lodge them with this sign.
Pray you, come hither a while. You have fortunes coming upon you. Mark me, you must seem to do that fearfully, which you commit willingly. Despise profit where you have most gain. To weep that you live as you do makes pity in your lovers. Seldom but that pity begets you a good opinion, and that opinion is a mere profit.
I understand you not.
Oh, take her home, mistress. Take her home. These blushes of hers must be quenched with some present practice.
Thou sayest true, if faith, so they must, for your bride goes to that with shame, which is her way to go with warrant.
Faith, some do, and some do not. But, mistress, if I have bargained for the joint...
Thou mayest cut a morsel of the spit.
I may so.
Who should deny it? Come, young one, I like the manner of your garments well.
Aye, by my faith, they shall not be changed yet.
Bolt, spend thou that in the town. Report what a sojourner we have. You'll lose nothing by custom. When nature framed this piece, she meant thee a good turn. Therefore, say what a paragon she is, and thou hast the harvest out of thine own report.
I warrant you, mistress, thunder shall not so awake the beds of eels as my giving out her beauty stirs up the lewdy inclines. I'll bring home some tonight.
Come your ways. Follow me.
If fires be hot, knives sharp, or waters deep, untied, I still my virgin knot will keep. Diana, aid my purpose!
What if we do with Diana, pray you? Will you go with us?
Why, are you foolish? Can it be undone?
Dionyza, such a piece of slaughter the sun and moon ne'er looked upon.
I think you shall turn child again.
Were I chief lord of all this spacious world, I'd give it to undo the deed. A lady much less in blood than virtue, yet a princess to equal any single crown of the earth in the justice of compare. O villain Leonine, whom thou hast poisoned too! If thou hadst drunk to him, 't'had been a kindness, becoming well thy face. What canst thou say, when noble Pericles shall demand his child?
That she is dead. Nurses are not the fates. To foster is not to ever preserve. She died at night. I'll say so. Who can cross it unless you play the impious innocent and, oh, for an honest attribute, cry out she died by foul play?
Go to. Well, of all the faults beneath the heavens, the gods do like this worst.
Be one of those that thinks the petty wrens of Tarsus will fly hence and open this to Pericles. I do shame to think of what a noble strain you are and how coward of spirit.
To such proceeding, whoever but his approbation added, though not his prime consent, he did not flow from honorable courses.
Oh, be it so, then. Yet none does know but you how she came dead, nor none can know, Leonine being gone. She did disdain my child, and stood between her and her fortunes. And none would look on her, but turn their gaze on Marina's face, whilst ours was blurted at and held a malkin not worth the time of day. It pierced me through, and though you call my course unnatural, you your own child not loving, yet I find it greets me as an enterprise of kindness performed to your sole daughter.
Heavens, forgive it!
And as for Pericles, what can he say? We wept after her hearse, and yet we weep. Her monument is almost finished, and her epitaph in glittering golden characters expresses a general praise to her and a care in us, at whose expense 'tis done.
Thou art like the harpy, which, to betray, dost with thine angel's face, seize with thine eagle's talons.
And you're like one that superstitiously do swear to the gods that winter kills the flies. Yet I know you'll do as I advise.
Thus time we waste, and long leagues make short. Sail seas in cockles, have and wish but fort, making to take our imagination from bourne to bourne, region to region. By you being pardoned, we commit no crime to use one language, and each several clime, where our scenes seem to live. I do beseech you to learn of me, who stand in the gaps to teach you stages of our story. Pericles is now again thwarting the wayward seas, attended on by many a lord and knight, to see his daughter, all his life's delight. Old Helicanus goes along. Well-sailing ships and bounteous winds have brought this king to Tarsus. Think his pilot thought, so with his steerage shall your thoughts go on, to fetch his daughter home, who first is gone. Like motes and shadows, see them move a while, your ears unto your eyes I'll reconcile. See how belief may suffer by foul show. This borrowed passion stands for true old woe. And Pericles, in sorrow all devoured, with sighs shot through and biggest tears o'ershowered, leaves Tarsus and again embarks. He swears never to wash his face nor cut his hairs. He puts on sackcloth and to sea. He bears a tempest which his mortal vessel tears, and yet he rides it out. Now please you wit? The epitaph is for Marina writ by wicked Dionyza. The fairest, sweetest, and best lies here, who withered in her spring of year. She was of Tyre, the king's daughter, on whom foul death hath made this slaughter. Marina was she called, and at her birth, Thetis, being proud, swallowed some part of the earth. Therefore the earth, fearing to be o'erflowed, hath Thetis, birth-child, on the heavens bestowed. Wherefore she does, and swears she'll never stint, make raging battery upon shores of flint. No visor does become black villainy so well as soft and tender flattery. Let Pericles believe his daughter's dead, and bear his courses to be ordered by Lady Fortune, while our scene must play his daughter's woe and heavy well-a-day in her unholy service. Patience then, and think you now are all in Mytilene.
Did you ever hear the like?
No, nor never shall do in such a place as this, she being once gone.
But to have divinity preached there, did you ever dream of such a thing?
No. Come, I am no more for bawdy houses. Shouldst go hear the vestals sing?
I'll do anything now that is virtuous, but I am out of the road of rutting forever.
Well, I had rather than twice the worth of her she'd ne'er come here.
Fie upon her! She's able to freeze the god Priapus and undo a whole generation. We must either get her ravished or be rid of her. When she do for clients her fitment and do me the kindness for our profession, she has me her quirks, her reasons, her master reasons, her prayers, her knees, that she would make a Puritan of the devil if he should cheapen a kiss of her.
Faith? I must ravish her, or she'll disfurnish us of all our cavalaria and make our swearers priests.
Now the pox upon her green sickness for me.
Faith, there's no way to be rid on it, but by the way to the pox. Here comes the Lord Lysimachus disguised.
We should have both lord and loun if the peevish baggage would but give way to customers.
How now? How a dozen of virginities?
And now the gods to bless your honor.
I am glad to see your honor in good health.
That you may. It is the better for you that your resorters stand upon sound legs. How now? Wholesome inequity have you that a man may deal with all and defy the surgeon?
We have one here, sir, if she would, but there never came her like in Mytilene.
If she would do the deed of darkness, as thou wouldst say.
Your honor knows what 'tis to say well enough.
Well, call forth.
For flesh and blood, sir, white and red, you shall see a rose, and she were a rose indeed if she had but...
What, I prithee?
Oh, sir, I can be modest.
That dignifies the renown of a bard no less than it gives a good report to a number to be chaste.
Here comes that which grows to the stalk, never plucked yet, I can assure you. Is she not a fair creature?
Oh, faith, she would serve after a long voyage at sea. Well, there is for you. Leave us.
I beseech your honor, give me leave a word, and I'll have done presently.
I beseech you to.
First, I would have you note this is an honorable man.
I desire to find him so that I may worthily note him.
Next, he's the governor of this country and a man whom I am bound to.
If he governed the country, you are bound to him indeed, but how honorable he is in that, I know not.
Pray you, without any more virginal fencing, will you use him kindly? He will line your apron with gold.
What he will do graciously, I will thankfully receive.
Have you done?
My lord, she's not paced yet. You must take some pains to work her to your manage. Come, we will leave his honor and her together. Go thy ways.
Now, pretty one, how long have you been at this trade?
What trade, sir?
Why, I cannot name it, but I shall offend.
I cannot be offended with my trade. Please you to name it.
Well, how long have you been of this profession?
Ever since I can remember.
Did you go to it so young? Were you a gamester at 5 or 7?
Earlier too, sir, if now I be one.
Why? The house you dwell in proclaims you to be a creature of sail.
Do you know this house to be a place of such resort, and will come into it? I hear say you are of honorable parts, and are the governor of this place.
Why? Hath your principal made known to you who I am?
Who is my principal?
Why, your herb woman, the one that sets the seeds and roots of shame and inequity. Oh, now that you have known my power, you stand aloof for more serious wooing. I prithee, pretty one, my authority shall not see thee, or else look friendly upon thee. Now come, take me to some private space. Come.
If you were born to honor, show it now. If put upon you, make the judgment good that thought you worthy of it.
How is this? How is this? Some more, be sage.
For me that am a maid, thou most ungentle fortune have placed me in this sty, where, since I came, diseases have been so dearer than physic, that the gods would set me free from this unhallowed place, though they did change me to the meanest bird that flies in the purer air.
I did not think thou couldst spoke so well. Never dreamt thou couldst. Had I brought hither a corrupted mind, thy speech had altered it. Hold, there is gold for thee. Persevere in that clear way thou goest, and the gods strengthen thee.
The good gods preserve you.
For me, be you certain that I came with no ill intent. For to me the very doors and windows savour vilely. Fare thee well. Thou art a piece of virtue, and I doubt not thy training hath been noble. Behold, here is some more gold for thee. A curse upon him, die he like a thief that robs thee of thy goodness. If thou dost hear from me, it shall be for thy good.
I beseech your honor, one piece for me.
Avaunt, thou damned doorkeeper! Thy house, but for this virgin that doth prop it, would sink and overwhelm you. Away!
What's this? We must take another course of action with you if your peevish chastity, which is not worth a breakfast in the cheapest country under the cope, shall undo a whole household. Let me be gelded like a spaniel. Come, your ways.
Whither would you have me?
I must have your maidenhead taken off, or the common hangman shall execute it. Come your way. We'll have no more gentlemen driven away. Come your ways, I say.
How now? What's the matter?
Worse and worse, mistress. She has here spoken holy words to the Lord Lysimachus.
Oh, abominable!
He makes our profession, as it were, to stink afore the face of the gods.
Oh, Mary, hand her up forever.
The nobleman would have dealt with her like a nobleman, and she sent him away as cold as a snowball, saying his prayers too.
Bolt, take her away. Use her at thy pleasure, crack the glass of her virginity, and make the rest malleable.
And if she were a thornier piece of ground, then she shall be plowed.
Oh, hark, you gods!
She conjures! Away with her! Would she had never come within my doors! Marry, hang you! She's born to undo us! Will you not go the way of womankind? Mary, come up! My dish of chastity with rosemary and bays! Oh.
Come, mistress, come your way with me.
Whither wilt thou have me?
To take from you the jewel you hold so dear.
Prithee, tell me one thing first.
Come, now your one thing.
What canst thou wish thine enemy to be?
Why, I could wish him to be my master, or rather, my mistress.
Neither of these things are so bad as thou art, since they do better thee in their command. Thou holdst a place for which the painted fiend of hell would not in reputation change. Thou art the damned doorkeeper to every coistrel that comes inquiring for his tib. To the choleric fisting of every rogue thy ear is liable. Thy food is such as hath been belched on by infected lungs.
What would you have me do? Go to the wars? Would you, where a man may serve 7 years for the loss of a leg and not money enough in the end to buy him a wooden one?
Do anything but this thou dost. Empty old receptacles or common shores of filth. Serve by indenture to the common hangman. Any of these ways are yet better than this. For what thou professest, a baboon, could he speak, would own a name too dear, that the gods would safely deliver me from this place. Here's gold for thee. If thy master would gain by me, proclaim that I can sing, weave, sew, and dance, with other virtues which I'll keep from Beus, and will undertake all these to teach. I doubt not but this populous city will yield many scholars.
But can you teach all this you speak of?
Prove that I cannot. Take me home again and prostitute me to the basest groom that doth frequent your house.
Well, I will see what I can do for thee. If I can place thee, I will.
But among honest women.
Faith, my acquaintance lies little amongst them. But since my master and mistress hath bought you, there's no going but by their consent. Therefore, I will make them acquainted with your purpose, and I doubt not, but I shall find them tractable enough. Come, I'll do for thee what I can. Come, your ways.
Marina thus the brothel scapes, and chances into an honest house, our story says. She sings like one immortal, and she dances as goddess-like to her admired lays. Deep clerks she dumbs, and with her kneel composes nature's own shape of bud, bird, branch, or berry, that even her art sisters the natural roses. Her inkle silk twin with the ruby cherry. That pupils lacks she none of noble race, who pour their bounty on her, and her gain she gives the cursed bawd. Here we her place, and to her father turn our thoughts again, where we left him, on the sea. We there him lost, where, driven before the winds, he is arrived, here, where his daughter dwells, and on this coast suppose him now at anchor. The city strived god Neptune's annual feast to keep, from whence Lysimachus, our Tyrian ship, espies his banners sable, trimmed with rich expense, and to him in his barge with fervor hies. In your supposing, once more put your sight of heavy Pericles. Think this his bark, where what is done in action, more, if might, shall be discovered. Please you, sit and hark.
Sir, there is a barge put off from Leonine, and in it is Lysimachus, the governor, who craves to come aboard. What is your will?
That he have his. Call up some gentlemen.
Ho, gentlemen! My lord calls.
Doth your lordship call?
Gentlemen, there is some of worth would come aboard. I pray greet him fairly.
Sir, this is the man that can, in aught you would, resolve you.
Hail, reverend sir. The gods preserve you.
And you, to outlive the age I am, and die as I would do.
You wish me well. Being on shore, honoring of Neptune's triumphs, seeing this goodly vessel ride before us, I made it to know of whence you are.
First, what is your place?
I'm the governor of this place you lie before.
Sir, our vessel is of Tyre. In it the king, a man who for this 3 months hath not spoken to anyone, nor taken sustenance, but to prorogue his grief.
Upon what ground is this distemperation?
'Twould be too tedious to repeat. But the main grief springs from the loss of a beloved daughter and a wife.
May we not see him?
You may, but bootless is your sight. He will not speak to any.
Yet let me obtain my wish.
Behold him. This was a goodly person, till the disaster that one mortal night drove him to this.
Sir King, hail, sir. God preserve you. Sir King, all hail. God preserve you. Hail, royal sir.
In vain. He will not speak to you.
Sir, we have a maid in Mytilene. I durst wager would win some words of him.
It is well bethought. She, questionless, with her sweet harmony and other chosen attractions, would allure and make a battery through his deafened ports, which are now midway stopped. She is all happy as the fairest of all, and with her fellow maid is now upon the leafy shelter that abuts against the island side.
Sure, all effectless. Yet nothing will omit that bears recovery's name. But since your kindness we have stretched thus far, let us beseech you that for our gold we may provision have, wherein we are not destitute for want, but weary for the staleness.
Oh, sir, a courtesy which we should deny, the most just God for every graft would send a caterpillar and so inflict our province. Yet once more, let me entreat to know at large the cause of your king's sorrow.
Sit, sir. I will recount it to you. But see, I am prevented.
Oh, here is the lady that I sent for. Welcome, fair one. Is it not a goodly presence?
She's a gallant lady.
She's such a one that were I well assured came of a gentle kind and noble stock, I would wish no better choice and think me rarely wed. Fair one, all goodness that consists in beauty, expect even here where is a kingly patient, if that thy prosperous and artificial feet can draw him but to answer thee in aught, thy sacred physic shall receive such pay as thy desires can wish.
Sir, I will use my utmost skill in his recovery, provided that none but I and my companion maid be suffered to come near him.
Come, let us leave her, and the gods make her prosperous. Marked he of your music?
No, nor looked on us.
See, she will speak to him.
Hail, sir! My lord, lend ear. I am a maid, my lord, that ne'er before invited eyes, but have been gazed on like a comet. She speaks, my lord, that mayhap be endured a grief might equal yours, if both were justly weighed. Though wayward fortune did malign my state, my derivation was from ancestors who stood equivalent with mighty kings. but time hath rooted out my parentage, and to the world and awkward casualties bound me in servitude. I will desist, but there is something glows upon my cheek and whispers in mine ear, go not till he speak.
My fortunes? Parentage, good parentage, equal to mine? Was it not thus? What say you?
I said, my lord, if you did know my parentage, you would not do me violence.
I do think so. Pray you turn your eyes upon me. You are like something that... What, countrywoman? Here of these shores?
No, nor of any shores. Yet I was mortally brought forth, and am no other than I appear.
I am grey with woe, and shall deliver weeping. My dearest wife was like this maid, and such a one my daughter might have been. My queen's square brows, her stature to an inch as one like straight, has silver voice, her eyes as jewel-like, and cased as richly, in pace another Juno, who starves the ears she feeds, and makes them hungry the more she gives them speech. Where do you live?
Where I am but a stranger. From the deck you may discern the place.
Where were you bred? And how achieved you these endowments which makes you more rich to owe?
If I should tell my history, it would seem like lies disdained in the reporting.
Prithee, speak. Falseness cannot come from thee, for thou lookst as modest as justice, and thou seemst to palace for the crown truth to dwell in. I will believe thee, and make my senses credit thy relation to points that may seem impossible, for thou lookst like one I loved, indeed. What were thy friends? Didst not thou say, when I did push thee back, which was when I perceived thee, that thou camest from good descending?
So, indeed, I did.
Report thy parentage. I think thou didst say that thou hast been tossed from wrong to injury, and that thou thoughtst thy griefs might equal mine if both were open.
Some such things I said, and said no more but what my thoughts did warrant me was likely.
Tell thy story. If thine considered prove the 1,000 part of my endurance, thou art a man, and I have suffered like a girl. Yet thou dost look like a patient gazing on nights, graves, and smiling extremity out of act. What were thy friends? How lost them thou? Thy name, most kind virgin, recount, I do beseech thee. Come, sit by me.
My name is Marina.
I am mocked, and thou by some incensed god sent hither to make the world laugh at me.
Patience, good sir, or here I'll cease.
Nay, I'll be patient. Thou little knowest how thou dost startle me to call thyself Marina.
The name was given me by one that had some power, my father and a king.
How? A king's daughter and called Marina?
You said you would believe me, but not to be a troubler of your peace, I will end here.
But are you flesh and blood? Have you a working pulse and are no fairy's motion? Well, speak on. Where were you born, and wherefore called Marina?
Called Marina, for I was born at sea.
At sea? What mother?
My mother was the daughter of a king, who died the minute I was born, as my good Norse Lycorida hath oft delivered weeping.
Oh, stop there a little. This is the rarest dream that e'er dull sleep did mock sad fools withal. This cannot be my daughter, buried. Well, where were you bred? I'll hear more to the bottom of your story, and I'll never interrupt you.
You scorned. Believe me, 'twere best I did give o'er.
I will believe you by the syllable of what you shall deliver. Yet, give me leave. How came you in these parts? Where were you bred?
The king my father did in Tarsus leave me, till cruel Cleon with his wicked wife did seek to murder me, and having wooed a villain to attempt it, who, having drawn to do it, a crew of pirates came and rescued me, brought me to Mytilene. But good sir, whither will you have me? Why do you weep? It may be you think me an impostor. No, good faith. I am the daughter to King Pericles, if good King Pericles be.
Oh, Helicanus!
Calls, my lord?
Thou art a grave and noble counselor, most wise in general. Tell me, if thou canst, what this maid is, or what she is like to be that thus hath made me weep.
I know not. But here's the regent, sir, of Mytilene. Speaks nobly of her.
She never would tell her parentage, being demanded that she would sit still and weep.
Helicanus, strike me, honoured sir, give me gash to put me in present pain, lest the great seas of joys rushing upon me o'erbear the shores of my mortality, and drown me with their sweetness. Oh, come hither, thou that beggest him that did beget thee. Thou wast born at sea, buried in Tarsus, and found at sea again. Oh, Helicanus, down on thy knees and thank the holy gods as loud as thunder threatens us. This is Marina. What was thy mother's name? Tell me but that, for truth can never be confirmed enough, though doubts did ever sleep.
First, sir, I pray. What is your title?
I am Pericles of Tyre. But tell me now, my drowned queen's name, as the rest you said, thou hast been godlike perfect, the heir of kingdoms, and another life to Pericles thy father.
Is it no more to be your daughter than to say my mother's name was Thaisa? Thaisa was my mother who did end the minute I began.
Now, blessings on thee, rise! Thou art my child! Give me fresh garments, mine own, Helicanus. She is not dead in Tarsus as she should be, have been by savage Cleon. She shall tell all, when thou hast kneeled, and justify in knowledge that she is thy very princess. Who is this?
'Tis the governor of Mitylene, who, hearing of your melancholy state, did come to see you.
I embrace you, sir. Oh, give me my robes. I am wild in my beholding. Oh, heavens, bless my girl. But hark, music. Tell Helicanus, my Marina, tell him o'er point by point, for he yet seems to doubt how sure you are my daughter. What music?
My lord, I hear none.
None? Is it the music of the spheres? List, my Marina.
It is not good to cross him. Give him way.
Rarest sounds. Do you not hear?
Music, my lord? I hear.
Oh, most heavenly music. It nips me into listening, and thick slumber hangs upon mine eyes. Let me rest now.
A pillow for his head. So leave him all. Well, my companion friends, if this but answer to my just belief, I'll well remember you.
My temple stands in Ephesus. Hie thee thither, and do upon mine altar sacrifice. There, when my maiden priests are met together, before the people all, reveal how thou at sea didst lose thy wife. To mourn thy crosses with thy daughters, call, and give them repetition to the life. Perform my bidding, or thou liv'st in woe. Do it, and happy by my silver bow. Awake, and tell thy dream.
I will obey thee, celestial Dian. Helicanus! My purpose was for Tarsus, there to strike the inhospitable Cleon, but I am for some other service first. Towards Ephesus. Turn our blown sails, ere Zeus I'll tell thee why. Shall we refresh us, sir, upon your shore, and give you gold for such provisions as our intents will need?
Sir, with all my heart. And when you come ashore, I have another suit.
You shall prevail were it to woo my daughter, for it seems you have been noble towards her.
Sir, lend me your arm.
Come, my Marina.
Now our sands are almost run, more a little, and then dumb. This my last boon give me, for such kindness must relieve me, that you aptly will suppose what pageantry, what feats, what shows, what minstrelsy and pretty din the regent made in Mitylene to greet the king. So he thrived that he is promised to be wived to fair Marina, but in no wise till he had done his sacrifice as Dian bade. Whereto, being bound, the interim pray you, all confound. In feathered briefness, sails are filled, and wishes fall out as they're willed. At Ephesus the temple see our king and all his company. That he can hither come so soon is by your fancies thankful doom.
Hail, Dian! To perform thy just command, I here confess myself the king of Tyre, who, frightened from my country, did wed at Pentapolis the fair Thaisa, and at sea in childbed died she, but brought forth a maid child called Marina, whom, O goddess, wears yet thy silver livery. She at Tarsus was nursed with Cleon, who at 14 years he sought to murder. But her better stars brought her to Mytilene, against whose shores riding her fortunes brought the maid aboard us, where, by her own most clear remembrance, she made known herself my daughter.
Grace and favor, you are, O royal Pericles.
What means the nun? Oh, she dies. Help, gentlemen.
Noble sir, if you have told Diana's altar true, this is your wife.
Reverend Superior, no, I threw her overboard with these very arms.
Upon this coast, I warrant you.
It is most certain.
Look to the lady. Oh, she's but overjoyed. Early, one blustering morn, this lady was thrown upon the shore. I opened the coffin, found there rich jewels, recovered her, and placed her here in Diana's temple.
May we see them?
Great sir, they shall be brought you to my house, whither I invite you. Look, Thaisa is recovered.
Ooh, let me look. If he be none of mine, my sanctity will to my sense bend no licentious ear, but curb it, spite of seeing. Oh, my lord, are you not Pericles? Like him you spake, like him you are. Did you not name a tempest, a birth, and death?
The voice of dead Thaisa.
And Thaisa am I, supposed dead and drowned.
Immortal Diane.
Now I know you better. When we with tears parted Pentapolis, the king, my father, gave you such a ring.
This. Oh, no more, you gods. Your present kindness makes my past misery sport. You shall do well on that touching of her lips, that I may melt and no more be seen. Oh, come, be buried a second time within these arms.
My heart leaps to be gone into my mother's bosom.
Look who kneels here, flesh of thy flesh, Thaisa, thy burdened at sea and called Marina, for she was yielded there.
Blessed and mine own.
Hail, madam, and my queen.
I know you not.
You have heard me say when I did fly from Tyre, I left behind an ancient substitute. Can you remember what I called the man? I have named him oft.
'Twas Helicanus, then.
Still confirmation. Oh, embrace him here, Dionyza. This is he. Now do I long to hear how you were found, how possibly preserved, and who to thank besides the gods for this great miracle.
Lord Cerimon, my lord, this man through whom the gods have shown their power, that can from first to last resolve you.
Reverend sir, the gods can have no mortal officer more like a god than you. Will you deliver how this dead queen relives?
I will, my lord. Beseech you. First, go with me to my house, where shall be shown you all was found with her. How she came placed here in the temple, no needful thing omitted.
Pure Dian, I bless thee for thy vision, and will offer night obligations to thee. Dear Thaisa, this prince, the fair betrothed of your daughter, shall marry her at Pentapolis. And now this ornament, which makes me look dismal, I shall clip to form, and that which 14 years no razor has touched, to grace thy marriage day I'll beautify.
Lord Cerimon hath letters of good credit, sir. My father's dead.
Heavens make a star of him. Yet there, my queen, will celebrate their nuptials, and ourselves will in that kingdom spend our following days. Our son and daughter shall in Tyrus reign. Lord Sirmian, we do our lodging stay to hear the rest untold. Sir, it leads the way.
In Antiacus and his daughter have you heard of monstrous lust, the due and just reward. In Pericles, his queen and daughter seen, although assailed with fortune fierce and keen, virtue preserved, from fell destruction's blast, led on by heaven, and crowned with joy at last. In Helicanus you may well descry a figure of truth, of faith, of loyalty. In Cerimon there well appears the worth that learned charity eye wears. For wicked Cleon and his wife, when fame had spread of his cursed deed to the honored name of Pericles, to rage the city turn, that him and his they in his palace burn. The gods for murder seemed so content to punish, although not done, but meant. So on your patience evermore attending, new joy wait on you, here our play has ending.